So yeah, if you want to find out more about that, message me. But right now, our wonderful friend Zion is on stage, and I know he's had a hell of a lot on the go, but I always appreciate his popping in and joining us. So Zion, my friend, introduction, and then what does this topic mean to you?
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Mark. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Loud and clear.
All right. Thank you. It's so good to be back. I'm very excited. Yes, for those who don't know me, you're seeing me for the very first time. My name is Zion Enogir, the positivity coach and mentor. Happy entrepreneurs embrace the power of positivity intentionally. And what I do as well, I host online events just like this. For anyone out there who wants to amplify their voices, you have a message you want to share with the world, you want to impact more people. So I help host online events so that you can be able to reach out to more people and make more impact. Well, for this topic, I think this resonates with me so much because I must say that my journey as an entrepreneur has evolved, has become better. I grew. Why? Because of the power of having a community. Now, not to compete with ourselves, but to support, to love, to cherish, to adore, to respect, and to honor one another. Because if there's one thing I will always say, together we can do so much more. Together we can make more impact. Together we can reach out to more people. You might be good all by yourself, which is okay. But you alone, you cannot do it all. Because at the end of the day, every day might not be your best days. There are days you don't feel like it. There are days you don't want to. There are days you don't have the energy. There are days you don't just want to do what you're supposed to do. But because you have the community who are there with you, the community who are there to support you, to encourage you, to push you, and they make you do the things you never thought you could do. So for me, community over competition, it's one topic that I can never get tired of talking about. Because I believe that when I came on as an entrepreneur, new in business, new in reaching out, I was a total novice. I knew nothing, in fact. But how I grew, how I become better was involving and engaging myself with people and involving community. And I love what Mark said earlier, talks about building relationship and communication. If there's something I've learned again, and I will keep learning, and I will never stop learning, is the ability to build relationship with people. Now, this is not just popping up when you need something. This is not just popping up, oh, I want you to let me do this. Oh, I need this. No, this is intentional communication, intentional reaching out just to check up on people. Sometimes when I reach out to people, I'm like, I'm not here for business. I'm not here to ask you to help me do this. I'm just here to check up on you, to know how you are doing, to know how you're faring, just to know how your week has been. I'm like, oh yes, that's it. Okay. That's all I came to say. And for some persons, because they are not used to it, they get so shocked, they get so surprised. But I tell you, those little acts of kindness, of love, has really been a game changer for me. It has really helped me build relationship with people I never thought I could build relationship with. Well, for those who don't know, I'm from Nigeria, and I've not really had the opportunity to travel out of Nigeria to go to other countries. Yes. But because I'll be able to build relationship on the online space, I know people from all over the world. I have friends from all over the world. We tend to have conversation, we tend to collaborate, we tend to work together. Why? Because we value the power of community over competition. And one thing I will always say, for most people, because we do the same thing doesn't mean you're my rival, or doesn't mean you're going to stop me from succeeding. You're going to stop me from growing or achieving what I want to get. Because at the end of the day, even though the entire birds on planet Earth decides to fly at the same time, the sky is big enough for all the birds to fly. So for me, I go with the mindset. If we all decide to shine together, I tell you, there is enough light for us to shine. There is enough space for our light to illuminate. So that's why working together, partnering together, supporting one another, it's what community it's all about. And he said community is about commune. It's about commune in the sense that communication, community, you are ghosting or you are disappearing. But the ability for you to commune, not just commune as a one-off time, but a communication that is consistent, that is dedicated, and that is intentional. Because at the end of the day, people want to be around people who, where they are with, they feel loved, they feel supported, not used. So when it comes to community, build relationship with people so that people will feel love around you, people will feel supported around you, people don't feel used. So like I said earlier, it's not only when you need something you show up, showing up always, showing up all the time. And like the last part of our topic said why collaboration wins. At the end of the day, I've never seen a place where they say there's a loss in collaboration. It's always a win-win. We all win together, and winning together amplifies the win, amplifies the results, amplifies the success. So let me not talk too much. I know I've said a whole lot, but for anyone out there, you're still thinking, oh, I don't want to talk to people. Let me tell you, at the end of the day, everything, I don't care what it is you want to do, everything revolves around people. You want to buy, you are buying from people. You want to sell, you are selling from people. You want to spectate and look, you are looking at people. It's as simple as that. So the ability for us to value people is at the center of it all. I will leave you with this. In doing this, always come from a positive mindset. For me, I'm all about positivity, and embracing positivity has really changed my mindset about people. Yes, people have hurt you, people have done something wrong to you, but there are still good people out there. There are still amazing people out there. And you don't have to look too far. Look at our Social Saturday community. There are so many amazing people you can reach out to, you can talk to, you can build relationship with. Because why? Together we can do so much more. And never forget, in positivity, there's always endless possibilities for you. So thank you so much, everybody. It's so good to be back. I'm very excited and I cannot wait to hear more about this conversation. So Mr. Mike, how you doing? Back to you.
Gee whiz, I've missed that that excitement and that it's like contagious positivity from you, Zion. So exciting, my friend, and thank you so much for being here and joining us today. And we've got loads of people joining the stage. Just to remind people that we are limited as to how many people we have on stage, and it does block other people from coming up. So please, as we introduce you, feel free to introduce yourself, ask any questions, and then if you have nothing to add at that point, allow other people to come into the room. But what Zion was saying, I was loving the fact that while you were talking about that, to commune and the community and the people that you support on different platforms or different social events, or LinkedIn Lives, or whatever the coming together of people is in your for you. I was just looking at the comments as that was going through and blown away with just looking at our community and how welcoming people are, and in the comments, people spotting other people coming into the room or coming onto the comments and welcoming them from different parts of the world, and how many people have connected with each other and gone on to get to know each other through this community. So I just, for me, that's a massively exciting thing. And I'd love to hear, if you've met somebody new in the Social Saturday community over time that you've ended up, seeing maybe on stage or a comment, and then ended up meeting face to face or collaborating with, drop that in the comments or come on stage and come and tell us about it. Before I move on to some of our guests, Felipe, have you got anything else to add at this time, my friend? Because I know you had to run off suddenly because you had a Space Invader.
There was a bee attack, and I was the subject of the attack. Can you hear me okay? Because I have a fan on me now, and that has apparently pushed the bees away, so I'm okay. Bumblebees, not a worry. But wasps, yeah, I'm not going to play around. I'm sorry. And I'm definitely not going to give you content of me getting stung on live video for you all to like make into a meme, because that, if that's going to happen, I'm going to do it to myself.
It'll go viral.
Exactly. But before we get, and I apologize for any background noise from my neighbors over there. They're using their leaf blower. But I just wanted to touch on some things, because Zion made some great points, and so did you, Mac, about the value of it. And I just had my quick Food-Based 5 things of kind of like the benefits of collaboration versus trying to be competitive, because it's easy to fall into that competitive mode. Oh, they're doing this, I can do it better. I need to get more clients because they have clients. Well, you know what? What if you found out how they were doing their work and understood it better, so that you could tap into the pool that maybe they weren't tapping into? Because if you're both going after the same client, yeah, that's going to be competitive, and you can do that, and that's okay if you do it respectfully. But when you have the opportunity to say, hey, you're dealing only with manufacturing and construction and healthcare, I'll tap into the other industries over here that you're not touching, and we can collaborate on ideas. So the 5 things I wanted to share was, 1, stronger outcomes, because you get a lot more speed through shared efforts, like I just described. The second one, it's that trust that you get, and that trust builds culture. Just like we have here, we have a trust amongst each other. So when you have a trust with a potential competitor, that builds a culture and attracts other people that can help build up your community, which also builds up your business. The third thing is your learning multiplies. Think about it. If I learned something and shared it with the other 2 people I'm working with and competing with, and they did the same thing with me, I'm not spending my time and wheels finding the solution. I don't have to recreate the wheel. If they already did, let me borrow that knowledge if they're willing to share it. And that's that trust that, oh, you're not going to try to take all that credit for yourself. I'm going to say, hey, I got this idea from Mac Laubscher. It's a great thing. I highly recommend it. Doesn't mean I can't share and talk about it. I'm just giving him credit for it. The fourth thing, healthy competition has its role. And I say that because it's one of those things where we have to remember that having fun competition pushes you. It challenges you. I know that when I was in a wellness competition, I lost weight. I quit smoking. I did things that I wasn't doing on my own, but a little competition pushed me. It was that push that I needed. Sometimes that healthy competition pushes you to like, oh, well, Mac thinks he's going to learn about the new AI LinkedIn Live feature before me. I'm going to learn about it before he does, and I'm going to show it off in Society Chat. And he's like, no, I'm going to get to it first. That's fun. And the last example I'll give you of fun competition is, I love the holidays. I decorate a lot for, people know about Halloween, but for Christmas, I decorate a lot for Christmas. My wife had a rule that nothing decorative until the day after Thanksgiving. My neighbor across the street had the same rule with his wife. All of a sudden, he's like, how dare you get your lights up before me? I've always been the first one on the street to get my lights up. I'm like, sorry. So each year we try to outdo each other. The year that I got him, because he was up there one night at like midnight, I decorated it the weekend before. I just didn't turn him on until midnight. So as he was starting at midnight, my lights come on, and he's like, that's it, you win. So again, friendly competition, because at the end of the day, competition can elevate the individual, but collaboration elevates everyone. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Mac to hear from these amazing people that we have on stage.
Sure. Well, we've got people that have been very patient, and we've had people that popped in, popped out, popped in, popped out. So I'm hoping that you're not having too many technical issues. And as I say that, we have somebody that's popped out. But Coach Carrie, you've been waiting for some time. Thank you for joining us today. Please introduce yourself, give us a bit of a fun fact about yourself, and then what are your thoughts on this topic and any questions or contributions?
Thank you for having me. My name is Coach Carrie. I'm a licensed financial coach, and a fun fact about me, I don't know how fun it is, but I am deathly allergic to bee stings. So Felipe, when I saw you running, I said, oh, it must be a bee. And so I don't know how fun that is, but that is a fact. And so just in regard to the topic, I think that competition does belong in community in the same way that friction belongs in a relationship. Shout out to Jackie Hallberg, who teaches on relationships. But I don't think that's the goal. I think it's a catalyst for growth. I really believe that if people share what Felipe talked about, this common bond, that you can push each other to be better. Competition in service of the community. So that can sharpen your skills, it can raise your standards. And for me personally, that's what creates the kind of excellence that the whole entire group benefits from. I think the trouble, in quotation marks, starts when competition shifts from we're both trying to be our best to I win only if you lose. And so I love what Felipe said about decorating the house because it's a win-win. The neighborhood looks great. Who doesn't love holiday lights? And so it's a win-win whether you're first or second. It makes the lights look better. It makes the house look better. It makes the community feel good. So if you're only winning if somebody else lose, I think that's where that sense of community fractures. And I think you have to treat the success of other people as proof of what is possible as opposed to treating it as a threat. And so I think really the healthiest communities, Zach, I think they hold both. I think they create space for people to compete and strive. I think you keep that relationship foundation strong enough so that competition does not consume the connection. I think of athletes, right? So I'm not an athlete, but think of athletes, right? In the same team, they push each other during practice versus the same athletes who might be sabotaging each other's performance. So it could be the same people, the same setting, is just a different type of energy. And I really feel like the question I ask, and I think it's worth asking, is when you're inside of a community, are you competing with each other or are you competing against each other? Because that's going to tell you really about the value of the community that you're in. I always say that confusion is expensive, but competition can be expensive also. Because thinking about scarcity, that's what keeps people stuck, that keeps people underpaid. And it also really, honestly, it keeps people invisible. And it can keep you isolated because who wants to be around people who are only there for themselves? So community is how you get seen by the right people. I always share events, even if I'm not the host, even if I'm not attending the event. I comment on as many events as possible. I do have a life outside of LinkedIn. I know that probably should have been my fun fact. So I do have a life outside of LinkedIn, but I try to make sure that I advocate for as many people as possible, share as many posts as possible. You know, I do no pitch coffee chats. You know, my show, which is airing today at 2 p.m., Carrie Connects, is just the idea that genuine conversations without an agenda can help you to build relational equity. And I think that's better than 100 cold pitches. That's where you actually see community over competition really in practice. And lastly, collaboration does not mean that you're giving away your edge. So many people, oh my God, we're both in finances, we can't work together. Or we're both in the same industry, we can't work together. Yes, you can. You can work together even if you have the same licenses, even if you have different licenses, even if you know the same people. I keep saying they used to say that we're about 6 degrees of separation, but with social media, you're 1 to 2 degrees of separation from anybody and everybody that could change the trajectory of your life. So trusting that your clarity and your voice and your specific genius, I know that what I do, who I am, it just cannot be replicated. And that's why I'm so open to collaborating with other people, because there is only one Coach Carrie. And when you know who you are, you don't see other people as threats. And so with that, I will yield the microphone. Follow me at Great Finances on all platforms. And thank you so much for having me.
Well, that was just an epic introduction and also a good, some great insights on the collaboration side of things. And it's interesting because when it comes to collaboration, I mean, I look at Felipe and I have been collaborating on things for I don't know how long, and there are a lot of things that overlap. Both of us talk about LinkedIn, but if you're going to start talking HR, I know a little bit about HR, but I'm going to point you in his direction every time because, I want you to be able to have the best advice, not something I know something kind of like maybe about. I want to put you in touch with the best person who's going to give you that opportunity to step up into that next arena. And this is one of the things that people fear collaboration because they see it as direct competition. And it was quite funny because this week I sat with a lady who is an avid networker. I'm hoping to do an interview with her soon. But we were sitting and laughing about the fact that people find networking either like and collaboration and community either as a place where they come and take from, or it's a place where they feel comfortable enough to contribute to. And when it comes to collaboration or it comes to community, it's about surrounding yourself with the right place. A lot of people go to networking groups or socials, or go and watch somebody on LinkedIn Lives, and maybe they just trying to beat the algorithm by showing up on a lot of places and ticking like and then shooting off and not actually contributing. So and when your mindset changes, and I love the way Zion, you put the sky is enough space for all the birds in the world, and when it comes to collaboration, especially through people that are maybe direct competitors, the amazing things that come out of that, because each one of you have different reasons for why you do what you do. You have different things that have contributed to who you are and what you do, and you have different skill sets. And people find it quite interesting that I'm openly, as an example, would recommend somebody to a different LinkedIn coach. And they're like, well, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just do the work yourself? It's like, well, it's also about the person in the community and supporting them in the best. So, as an example, over the last few months, I've had quite a few people that I've met that I've introduced to Zion, because they're talking about running communities and these different organizations and positivity and all these things. And I'm like, hold on, have you heard of Zion? Like, you need to connect with Zion. And people are like, well, yeah, but I know LinkedIn and you can help and things like, and I'm like, that's great. But what you need is the right person who's going to be able to help you with those outcomes. And that's why it's so important to choose your community so carefully. Because somebody mentioned about in the comments about it draining your energy if you pick the wrong community. And it's true. They talk about you being the average of the 5 or 6 people you spend the most time with. And you need to be intentional and deliberate with the communities that you hang out with. But also look at how do you bring something to the table. So I'm not going to talk for much longer. I just wanted to check if either Zion or Felipe wanted to say anything on what Coach Carey said before we go to the wonderful Jay in the room, and then we've got David, and we had a few other people, and Jael is also just joining us as well, so I'll be adding her to the stage. But Leslie's back. She's been in and out of the backstage. I don't know what's going on. But
so I'll just say real quickly, I love what Coach Carey said and what you built off of that, Mac. And when you were speaking, Mac, it reminded me when you said about how, we met on Clubhouse talking about LinkedIn. We're both LinkedIn coaches, trainers, whatever. Mac was really focusing on helping businesses grow their LinkedIn for company pages, for their brand. I was focusing more of sharing content, information on HR. We easily could have competed. He easily could have hated the fact that I put LinkedIn coach on my profile for a couple of years. But instead, he saw that as a value. I learned so much from Mac over the years that when I learned something new, I was excited to share it with him because I felt like I wanted to give back to all the stuff that he taught me. And when you have that mindset, it's amazing how that community starts to grow, and just 2 people supporting each other, sharing ideas, giving you honest feedback. It's just a value partnership. And imagine if you had a community of people doing that for you, it's really an amazing thing. So I just want to encourage people to don't be competitive negatively, be competitive in a positive way and learn from each other.
Awesome stuff. I couldn't agree more. You tend to put things a little bit more succinctly than I do sometimes because I ramble for, as people know, ADHD much squirrel. Anyway, I'm back. Jay, my friend, introduce yourself. What are your thoughts on this topic? So good to see you. I'm so gutted I didn't get to see you while I was in the US, but I just, yeah, another 4 to 6 hours. And I found out it costs more to fly from Long Island to Boston than
No kidding.
than it costs to fly from Long Island to London. I was like,
Oh
what
my
are
God.
people doing?
Oh my gosh. Well, I just want to say I'm glad to be here today. My name is Jay. I'm from Massachusetts, and one fun fact about me is I'm a big fan of Avengers and Star Wars. What more can you say about that, huh? But no, but seriously, on this topic, when I read this topic, I'm just as Coach Carey was talking, I'm thinking to myself, okay, we have community over competition, but here's the thing: when you have a community, there is no competition, right? I mean, a community works together as a team, and when I think about competition and community, um, I'm reminded of the Avenger movies. You have all these different little superheroes, right? That all are working together to accomplish one mission. But do they have to compete for it? No way. They can work together, use their superpowers, whatever superpowers they have, to meet their goal, right? And do they have to compete for it? No. They can work together to accomplish their mission. But at the same time, there are no winners or losers in communities, right? You don't have to compete to network, right? You can work together as a team, right? You can win by networking, but at the same time, you don't have to lose anything. You have nothing to lose. But here's the thing: when you're collaborating, you want to make sure that the collaboration that you're doing is transparent, honest, trustworthy, and it doesn't become a competition. You want to avoid becoming you want to avoid the networking from becoming a competition. You have to work as a team. And I cannot stress that enough. I bring up the example of the Avengers. Coach Carey, I support you on that one. But thank you for letting me speak today. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, Jay, you're looking sharp, my friend. It's so good to see you and that big smile on your face. Always great to have you. And 100%, when we work together as a team, it's amazing what you can achieve. And that's why, I love what, what some people use the acronym for team of, together everyone achieves more. And if it's used constructively, yeah. But always ask yourself, if you're not getting something from a community, also ask yourself, am I contributing to this community before you look at the outcome being exclusively, what do I get? Because I see that a lot in networking, where people walk into a room or they walk into a community, they'll come up on stage and hey, this is me, this is my stuff, buy my stuff, follow me, and then they're off, but they haven't contributed to the community.
And one more thing I forgot to add is that you want to make sure that, is this person I'm networking with really resonating with me? I mean, how can I make sure that I can resonate with this person who is having a challenge? In my case, I am, right? But I want to be able to network with people who can really resonate with my story. Like Martha, for example. She is having this panel this afternoon, and it's going to be consisting of a whole 4 people, including myself, right, who can resonate with one of the major issues that's facing our world today, which is healthcare. And so again, resignation is really important.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm just looking at the stage, and I mean, people are having to drop off so people can come in. Um, the stage is just packed and lots of people waiting. So, Jay, thank you so much, my friend. David Pushkin, you have been waiting out in the bleachers for a while, my friend. Please introduce yourself, your fun fact, and what's your question or contribution around this topic today.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm glad the stage is popping. Those who do not know me, David Pushkin, public sector leader, over 20 years experience, your chief encouragement officer and lover of all things accessibility and all that good stuff. My fun fact is somebody told me I'm getting grayer. I don't know if that means I'm getting more wise or getting more old. I'm still on the fence about that one. Look, community, it's all about, like I said, community and collaboration over community, it's all about the community, and collaboration, not about competition. We're better together. A couple of things from that. Right now, I believe we're stronger together. Right now, there's a pandemic of ego in the world, especially within our corporate society. And that doesn't work. The whole, dog eats dog and let's all screw each other. It does not work. We are better together. It works when we all work together. As they say, teamwork makes the dream work, and it really does. We were talking about the Avengers analogy. It's all about the different powers that all go towards one thing, and that's what's really important. It's all about kind of just collaborating, promoting each other, seeing how things go, talking to each other, and and just being in community. We are stronger together. The world is a much better place when we collaborate, work with each other, when we promote each other, we do good things with each other, and that's what's super important. It's all about that, and my last thing around collaboration that I'll like is, a collaboration needs to be, something that's mutual. Glenn Marsden has talked a lot about this in his newsletters. If somebody says, hey, Felipe, I want to collaborate with you, it's not just because I'm trying to, you're trying to ride Felipe's coattails because he's like a LinkedIn top voice. You've got to come with with equity. Collaboration needs to be, mutual, not just one person kind of piggybacking and saying, oh, we should collab. No, sometimes it's you want to kind of get somebody to open that door for you. That's not how this works. It's all about mutual respect, mutual collaboration, and mutual teamwork. Like I said, stay encouraged, everybody. Teamwork makes the dream work. I will yield the mic there.
Oh, David, and I love Jackie's comment while you were talking. David is the one with the most amazing voice in the world. Always great to hear your shares, my friend. It's interesting, when you were talking about that, people bringing their strengths. And in communities, like Jay's Avengers comparison, it is incredible what a community can achieve if it lets people play to their own strengths. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what some of the other guests have got to say over here without us running out of time. Leslie, if you're there, you have been popping in and out right in the beginning, and every time I want to let you on stage, you have disappeared. So hopefully you can hear me. And Mike, introduce yourself. Any questions or comments? Okay. Not sure what's going on here. Leslie, I'd had you on twice at one stage. I'm assuming from two different devices. Are we having some glitches? Hold on. Felipe, you're back in the room. Can you hear us?
Yeah, no, now it was really weird. Every time, I thought it was me. Every time I put a message on my phone in the chat, the sound would go off, and I wouldn't hear anybody. At one point, I couldn't hear David, but I could hear you, Mac. But I've had some glitches where 3 times the sound's cut off for everybody, and I've had to refresh my screen.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Now we can.
Okay. Let me talk fast.
I also have you on stage twice.
Well, God knows how that's happening. I don't know what to say. I'll get off as soon as I can. I've just had a wild morning with the phone.
I'm just happy I'm not seeing double. Okay, so that's good.
Okay, gosh, so much has been said. So what to share with you briefly here, since the time is getting away.
Wait, can you all hear her? I can't.
Yep, can hear her
Can
clearly.
you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you, Leslie.
Oh, fudge. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Leslie, can you hear us? Or the LinkedIn gods playing tricks on us today?
Yes, we can hear you, Leslie. Go ahead. Oh, I think there have been so many glitches today.
Hold on, I'm just going to go. Hold on, there's another Leslie. There we go. Leslie, can you hear us? And it was all going so swimmingly until the sound just disappeared. Hopefully, Leslie, we can get you back on and can hear you again. For some reason, I've got you on twice, but no sound. So it might be worthwhile just dropping off, coming back in. But in the meantime, let's get to Mr. Joe Caruso. So if you want to see somebody who's an artist, and I mean, it's a very specialized artist. He's an artist at pizza making. In my world, he's the pizza king because I've watched him in person create some incredible artworks, not only in how they look, but how they taste, which is most important. Joe, my friend, how are you? Please introduce yourself to everybody who hasn't heard from you, and tell us your thoughts on the subject.
Excellent. I'm Joe Caruso. I'm at the top of the Chesapeake Bay at the confluence of the Susquehanna River and the Chesapeake. And you took my fun fact away that I make a lot of pizza. I work in franchising. I've been the international vice president of Gloria Jean's Coffee, national director of domestic development with Hardee's and Carl's Jr. I was the chief development officer at Kitty Academy, Child Care Centers, chief development officer at the Lovesack Furniture Company. And I have been doing franchising for a very, very long time. And I love the idea of what I call co-opetition, not my word, Barry Nailbuff's word, who was the founder of the Honest Tea Company, who wrote a book about the confluence of competition and cooperation and when to know when that's an opportunity. I did put the link to that book in the chat, and he wrote it with another PhD professor, I think at Yale, named Brandenburger. Excellent book. It's a very fun book. I was scared of the book when I first heard about it because it was about game theory and decision theory. And I said, why the heck do I want to learn anything about that at all? And my business partner, who has a PhD from Stanford in that area of expertise, I thought he was just trying to bore me to death. Excellent book, a lot of fun. Now, to today's topic on the opportunities for all of us in collaborating with our competitors. We all already do it. It's called networking. We go out there and we network. It's very informal. It's a very low risk, not very complex kind of arrangement. You can level up to the next level of informal, which networking is informal, but informal cooperation, much in the way that evidenced by Mac and Felipe. They've been doing these LinkedIn collaborations for business development jointly for a very, very long time. And they have an informal referral system set up. And there's projects they can work on jointly, separately. Brilliant opportunities that all of us can have. Now, you can get to the point where you can formalize these informal arrangements. And the difference between, I call it, my view, the difference between the formal and the informal is that the formal has a budget. The formal has a commitment of time. Not that the informal doesn't, because what Felipe and Mac have committed to is every Saturday they come here at a minimum. But you have a budget. You may actually have a memorandum of understanding. You may have a contract. You may have some kind of written agreement. It could be very extensive. It could be very, very minimal. Once you get to that formal level, it becomes very, very, very real. It becomes part of your business DNA for both parties. So that's kind of my basic view on it, because I know there's other people that want to talk.
Well,
there's supposed to be applause and everybody. That was great.
I was trying to find the mic, make sure that I wasn't muted again, because I'm either muted when I shouldn't be, or unmuted when I shouldn't be. So, but it's interesting what you bring up there with the paid version versus like the commitment and the different size, the different strokes really for collaboration and networking, because a lot of the time we're doing it but not intentionally, or we're not focused intentionally on what do we bring to the party, what respecting other people's time in the network. What are we doing there? What do we bring to the party for those individuals? What's the outcome? And what's the why? And that's why a lot of people fall out of communities, because they go there, but they're not, after a while, they're not quite sure when they have to evaluate things like, okay, I need to grow my business. Is this still a fit where I'm at? Or I need to grow, my personal development. Is this supporting what I'm trying to do? And when you start asking those questions, that's when you start evaluating things. And communities and collaborations and things like that need, Felipe knows and Zion knows from being part of our group, that every 3 to 6 months we have to kind of pull the reins back, go, hey guys, what are we doing? Are we still on track? What are we talking about? How are we bringing value to the community? All those kind of things, because it can very easily just become another thing that people just do, as opposed to actually considering the investment of time that you show up for. What is the outcome? How are you serving other people? And then one of the things that some of us forget is, how are we serving ourselves as well? That is really important, because you can't pour from an empty cup. Felipe, did you want to add anything on there before I try and go back to Leslie?
I just think that Joe did an amazing job. It was outstanding. And I thought you brought up some great points. I do want to check out that book that you put in the chat. So thank you for putting that in the chat for us to check out, because it is that perspective sometimes that we need from a different person to really understand it. So I think it's always good when you hear from a different person, read it from a different person. It adds value, and you've done a lot. And look, collaborations here on LinkedIn. Joe lives in the town where my daughter's getting married, but I do need to let you know that Joe Retro is not working with Airbnb anymore. I don't know what happened there, but
well, just call her up.
The point is that he connected me with a lot of resources because we collaborated here on LinkedIn first. And so sometimes you don't realize that the benefits of those collaborations could help you personally, could help your business, could turn into a friendship. You never know what those secondary benefits might end up being. And those secondary benefits might be bigger than the initial benefit. So thank you, Joe. And now hopefully we can hear Leslie. Back to you, Mac.
One other thing I wanted to say on Mac's comment, because he added very nicely to my comparison of informal versus formal. And
Mac, you there?
And
I am.
Oh, okay.
And that was very good. Another way that may actually.
How about Leslie? You there, Leslie?
Yes, I'm here, waiting as patiently as I can.
Oh, we still can't hear you. Can you hear
her? We can hear her.
All right, I'm going to shut up then.
Yeah, Felipe, and Joe's just finishing off, and then we'll come back.
Yeah, the last thing is that that may help people frame it in their minds is uncommitted versus committed. What Mac described in the relationship with the group that puts on these Saturday events, it's committed. There may not be a budget against it, but it's committed versus I show up at the local Chamber of Commerce meeting and I meet who I meet. That's not really committed to any one person. Anyway, I'll end on that.
Well, I've got to be careful because just that little bit that you brought in there, Joe, can take me down a rabbit hole, because there's a whole nother conversation around that committed versus non-committed and getting something out of networking, but also giving, and that's a whole conversation. I think we need to add that as one of the topics. Thank you so much, Joe, for adding that value. I just noticed we've got 2 minutes left. And the glitches in the last 10 minutes have been off the scale. I mean, people have been popping on and off here like popcorn. People are now on YouTube, they're on Facebook, trying to get away from some of the LinkedIn glitches and the sounds, and I don't know what's going on. So while we can, Leslie.
Geez, this is the universe probably telling me, Leslie, why didn't you just give it up on the third try? And as the time whittles away and people are just carrying on and doing their thing, I'm thinking, well, maybe I'm not supposed to share anything. So I better think of something of value. And so I'll do it quickly. Oh my gosh. So first of all, this concept of collaboration started back in caveman days. And, Benjamin Franklin called this kind of collaboration a junto. And we know it now popularized by Napoleon Hill as mastermind, which is one of the principles of success. And I'll tell you one thing that I learned when I first started coaching some 20 years ago. I was at a social gathering and I met a guy from another city who was a coach. And I got really excited. I said, you're a coach. I am too. We ought to do something together. He looked at me and he said, we are in competition. Why would I want? So what I learned from this is, over the years, that if I and another coach were offering services 24/7, 365 inside a 10-mile radius of where we both lived, we could never serve all the people who could benefit by our services. And that is, so the last thing I'll say is, in my 2014 bestseller in Women in Business, I do a whole chapter on mastermind, how you pick people, how you learn to trust them, etc. So this is not a new term. And it's what's so fun and fascinating about it is that we are all revisiting it. For a while, mastermind was a big buzzword. Oh, everybody called everything a mastermind. Now, we're moving back to collaboration, different labels. But you could never serve everybody. So there's no reason to compete unless it's for fun or it's a healthy internal conversation or competition. That's all I have to say. And it is 1:00 exactly. This must be this is a record for me.
Well, Leslie, firstly, thank you for your perseverance. And your reference to looking at that kind of area that people can serve, and the fact that there's more than enough people and you would never be able to serve everyone, and some people who have that but we're competitors attitude, that's a whole new topic, but it normally comes from a position of fear, or there are a few other words I can use, but I probably shouldn't. So
that's why, Mac, that's why it's important that when you create a collaboration, that you are basically at the same emotional intelligence level, or at least you're not in the fight or flight. You get that supporting benefits everybody. So you need to be selective with who you share your information with. And I've learned that 2 to 5 people is it, right? And then you've
got to be very protective over your energy levels as well in that selection process.
Mine's a mess right now after a whole hour of jumping on and off. I need to take some deep breaths and have a cup of tea. Thank you for letting me speak.
Oh, Leslie, you're a gem. Thank you so much for being here. We've covered so many things, but if anything, I think what we've done is we've opened many cans of worms and then also challenge the tech gods while we're at it with regards to who can hear what and whether they're in the room or not, and we don't even know. Maybe this event never happened and it's just a few of us sitting here on the screen talking and there's no replay.
Hey, Mac, excuse me, one more thing. I've been holding this the whole hour too. Coach Carrie mentioned that her live is today at 2. That's not Eastern time. That's 2 where she lives. It's 3 p.m. Eastern live on LinkedIn. That's Coach Carrie today.
Well spotted. And I think somebody put that in the comments as well, but there were so many comments, I think they probably didn't even spot it because there were so many. But Leslie, thank you for putting that out. And if you're not following Leslie, by the way, she publishes every week and a treasure trove of different events that people follow and can go and listen to and go and watch and become part of communities and connect with. So please do go and check out, and as well as all the other great stuff that she's doing. And Joe, before I forget, please nag me. I met some people in New York that I need to introduce you to. But with that, I'm going to go over to Zion. Zion, any final thoughts or questions? I know you've also been popping in and out like everybody else, trying to stay on the platform while it kicks everybody out. Any final thoughts, my friend, and anything that's coming up that people can support you with? Okay. Zion, are you with us? Okay, I'm going to come back to Zion.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
He's there. Tech gods have switched off the restrictions.
Yeah. So for me, I host my positivity event every Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern time and 7 p.m. West Africa time. For us, it's all about positivity and spreading positivity to every corners of the earth. And like I always say, in positivity, there are always possibility. So the more we collaborate, the more we work together, the more possibilities that are with us. So thank you so much, everyone, and have a great weekend.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much, Zion. And a new friend of mine, Reagan, has just popped up on the screen. Unfortunately, we haven't had him on or had time to getting up on this topic today. But Zion, I hope the two of you have started connecting and talking because I think there are a lot of things that you can help each other with. And we've got to do a topic just on that at some point in the future as well. What's his name? The guy in the blue shirt running away from bees. Doesn't have sound. I don't even know he's on. Felipe.
Hello, Mac. Can you all hear me?
We can.
I had to go to YouTube every time Leslie or Zion or Joe spoke because all of a sudden I'd be like, why did Mac stop talking? And I'm like, oh, wait, turn up the volume. I'm like, oh, Leslie's talking. So thank God that, I was tenacious enough to find out I'm going to listen to them. I want to hear them. So, but anyone that has dealt with those LinkedIn glitches know that they're out of our control. But that's why it's nice to have multiple platforms that we're on, different pages. You can always find us somewhere. As far as this, it's been a great conversation. I appreciate everyone's just the comments, the questions in the chat. Joe, Leslie, who else came up? Coach Carrie and somebody else, I forgot. David. Just all the insights y'all provide. This is what these amazing events provide. This is opportunities to meet people. You saw Mac talking to Joe about connections he met in New York when he was traveling. When you collaborate with people, they pop in your mind when you see something that reminds you of them. Part of it's branding. Part of it is relationship. And both are important. Any of you that know that Brenda Meller, I can't go anywhere and see a pie and not think about Brenda Meller on LinkedIn. I don't know what. I'll text her. I'm like, why do I keep on thinking about you when I see a pie? And she's like, I worked really hard on branding. And so she has. But these collaborations do the same thing. They put you in the person's work or what they do in your head, and it allows us to grow and build on those relationships. So thank you all for joining us. Reminder to follow us on our homepage on LinkedIn if you're not following us there, and hit that little bell. I apologize for the loud bird in the background, by the way. He's really loud today. Hit that little bell on our page so you get notified of all the events that everyone does. And then, of course, connect with everyone in the chat. Follow them, learn about them, because that's what the beautiful benefit of networking really does is it brings us closer together. As far as what I have coming up, Monday I have my workplace wellness hour with Sumana Jetty, and we're going to be talking about, is wellness in the workplace a benefit or is it a competitive edge nowadays? If that resonates with you, come check it out. We'll be live on YouTube and on LinkedIn, and feel free to follow me on both. I also have Social Saturday or Careers Chaos and Coaching a week from tomorrow with Melissa Houston, and then I'll be back next Saturday with this amazing team here for another Social Saturday chat. So thank you, Mac and Zion, for this wonderful day. Hope everyone has a wonderful Saturday as well, and hopefully you're having nice weather like we are here today in the DC area. Over to you, Mac.
Oh, what a session with its glitches and challenges and all. And I love the fact that, Felipe is sitting there with multiple devices, hearing sound from one person speaking on YouTube, speaking to us here on StreamYard, then on LinkedIn, being heard by somebody. It's incredible what's available and what's possible these days. But one of the things, before I go on to what's happening with me and what I'm doing, but I want to challenge every single one of you to find, somebody to collaborate with. There's so many different ways you can collaborate, but I challenge you to go and find somebody who does something very similar to yourself, to get yourself out of your comfort zone and either do a one-to-one where you just do a face-to-face meeting, or you do a one-to-one, like whether it be a Zoom meeting, or if you really want to challenge yourself, go and do a LinkedIn Live collaboration with somebody who does something similar to yourself and just talk about some of the industry challenges, how customers could be served better. And you'll be shocked and surprised what value that can bring to others, as well as the confidence it will give your own customers in yourself, because of the fact that you're confident enough to be able to do that. It is something that we see so often. And I go to events and people get very emotive, I guess, with regards to if there's somebody else who does something similar to them and they shouldn't be there because that's direct competition and it freaks them out. And, that's normally a massive sign of just that insecurity. And it's a great opportunity for you to learn. If you want to talk more about that, go to my diary, book a session, let's have a chat and we'll see what we can come up with. But as I mentioned right in the beginning, I'm launching this new app. For those of you that are testing, I know secretly in the background, some of you have got access. Don't say anything, by the way. Those don't even smile if you have access. It's something that's there to built to assist people to use this platform better, get more out of it. Understand the daily habits. But there are a few other things that we've done, and I'm going to be running a live training session and insight session with some of the people that have got a link to the app, to come back and go, Mac, why did you just take me down a rabbit hole? Or, yes, I like this, I don't like that. Or, Mac, please stay away from building apps. Who knows? Anything can happen in these conversations. But if it's going to be able to benefit you and help you use this platform better, build better communities, build better connections, and not waste your time on a lot of the stuff that people do on LinkedIn, where they just lose 2-3 hours. They do lots of busy work, but they don't get anything from it. So if that's something that's of interest to you, or you want to talk more about it, send me a message. We're having people from all over the place just dropping in. And I'm not sure we're getting lots of "we love yous" as well. I need to go and have a look at those. So, folks, I wish you all a fantastic week. Please follow all of these wonderful people that have shared some of their time on stage today. Go and reach out, connect with somebody, and see where a conversation goes. But next week, we'll be back, same place, same time. And yes, a lot of people are asking us if we can go to 2 hours. I also have to respect the fact that my co-hosts, they have lives too, and I want them to be able to show up on a regular basis without it having the dagger look from their family members waiting for several hours just to be able to get their attention on a weekend. So thank you so much for all the contribution and help.
Hey, Matt.
Yes, sir.
I actually have something too coming up. Can I tell you guys about it?
No, not at all, Joe. Go for it.
All right, gotta go. See you later. I am doing a show on April 21st, a LinkedIn Live in London with Harvey Tuck. I'm going to be in Maryland, but he's in London, and it is.
You had me going there for a sec.
Yeah. Actually, my business partner Ned is going to be in London at the International Franchise Association franchise show in London on the 17th and 18th. He will be there. And Harvey will be there too, because Harvey's doing a panel at that. This is post the IFA London show, and we're going to be talking about data, but we're going to be talking about it in not a boring way. We're going to be talking about it in a practical way with an ounce of protection and prevention to it. So think about data, and this is a good one for you to come to, Mac, and also Felipe, because it touches on both the areas of expertise and subject matter you work in. What do you do with your loyalty and consumer data? How do you maximize that in two areas? One, sell more, whatever you sell to consumers, and some of those people might be great franchise candidates that could expand your network. The other area is the leads you've already gotten. What do you do with them? How do you manage that data? Your employee data, that I got to give a little bit to Felipe, and how do you protect that and ensure that not so much a leverage, and then manage it well. So it should be a very, very good event, and I hope you all want to come. It's at 1:15 on Tuesday, April 21st, Eastern Standard Time, Eastern Daylight Time, and I think it would be 5:15 GMT,
somewhere around there.
Yeah. So, and it should go up today. Harvey Tuck will be posting it. I will be reposting it on my LinkedIn, so you can find it there as well.
Well, when the link comes up, go and drop it into the comments of this event for those watching the replay as well.
That's a great idea. I will do that.
Excellent stuff. And data, I mean, that's a whole another conversation. It's with AI and all the different things happening now, it's so important on how you look after that and manage that. And there are a lot of people getting into a lot of trouble with not doing it properly. So anyway, folks, Saturdays, Martha, we've just seen you share that you are team replay for the Saturday. We missed you today. We'll see you next Saturday. Thank you, everybody. Go and have an amazing week ahead and go and invest some time in yourselves. Cheers, everybody.
Adios, everyone.